Hi, and welcome back. My name is Maya, and thank you for hopping on this video. This is my first attempt on vocalizing through the camera, through video form, on my journey on being a born-again Christian. So here it goes. Throughout my life, I'll start with the background of my spirituality and how it's formed throughout the years as a backstory. So throughout my life, my family has been Roman Catholic, and we used to diligently go to church every Sunday, and we also had Saturday schools for religion. And at that time, growing up, when I was little, I was spiritual, but I didn't always agree with the different tactics in Roman Catholic teachings. And throughout my later years, still in childhood, but just later years, more like teenage years, I was rebellious, but in the back of my mind, I always had this love for God. I just was searching in the wrong places. Throughout those times of childhood and teenage years, I was interested in the paranormal or other realms of existence. But again, I was searching in the wrong places for God. So I did, I watched scary movies with ghosts and, did different things to try and communicate with other things in other realms, not knowing the repercussions, not knowing the danger that it is, and the different doors that you open, like a can of worms. We're not aware of how dangerous tapping into other things that we don't necessarily fully understand or know. We don't know how dangerous it is, and it's dangerous. So fast forward to 2013, where I had a sense that God exists, but I wasn't religious at that time. I was more spiritual than religious. And at that time frame of 2013, my career collapsed, dealing with what I was into at that time, with graphic design work. My relationship was crumbling. My finances were out of whack. My living situation was even worse. I was kind of in a homeless type of situation, just spending time with the partner at the time that I was with, his family and his friends. So I was in a very low place at that time. I would say towards the ending of 2013, going into 2014. And at that time, I was highly stressed, and I didn't know what else to do as far as the direction of my life. I felt lost, I felt hurt, and I felt scared on how to survive moving forward. So I remember one night where I just, in my mind, was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna Like, where is my life going? And I felt to take a nap at that time. And I normally don't take naps, just so you know. I normally do not take naps. So I ended up taking a nap upstairs of where I was staying. And during me taking a nap, I had a dream. A very intense dream that I remember even to this day. And it's gonna be with me for the rest of my life, I feel. This dream, I was in a church, a very old church. And I was a little kid in the dream, in a certain type of uniform. And there was other little kids around in the dream as well, in uniforms. And we were playing and trying to figure things out as far as, you know, when you're playing as a little kid, you discover different things, you learn different things, and you have adventures. So it was like that in the dream. And then all of a sudden Jesus came in the dream. And when I saw Jesus, I was like, oh my gosh, I missed you so much. And I gave him a hug and he gave me a hug. And he told me certain things in the dream that were important. And I had to really pay attention and listen, even though at the time I didn't want to. I wanted to wake up from the dream because it was intense. But Jesus needed to tell me some things. And once we hugged and he told me certain things, the dream changed where there was a huge scroll that kind of opened, a very old scroll that opened. And there was different angels within the scroll and different words that said, this is it. This isn't a test. This isn't fake. This is it. This is real. And it had a lot of important information for my journey in that scroll. And it also had music that was really loud. Music of angel voices, like singing all together in a harmony, in like a symphony that was so loud, so impactful on having me remember that moment. It was almost like the singing of angels that worship God, but who knows? But anyways, as I was hearing the music in my dream and seeing the scroll and trying to read the scroll, at the same time I wanted to wake up, but I couldn't. I couldn't move. I couldn't move, so I tried to fight to wake up. I tried to fight it in order to wake up and come out of it. And once, you know, everything was read in the scroll, the music stopped and I was able to fully wake up out of the dream. And I started to cry. But at the same time, I felt so much love from God pour in. And at that time, I didn't know what that was about. I had no idea why I had that dream, what the importance of it was. So then I tried looking it up on the internet to see if there was any answers. I didn't even go to the Bible first. I went right to the internet, and that's how I first started to get into the New Age movement, because they had different articles and things that didn't have exactly what I experienced, but it had similar things that they just inverted the truth practically to have me get sucked into the New Age movement. And I know for some of you who are into the New Age movement, who are listening and viewing this video right now, is probably triggered from that, probably don't even want to hear that, but it's the truth. and I'm gonna tell the truth. So be it. And so yeah. So I tried looking it up on the internet to see what this dream was about, to see the significance, the meaning behind it. And so at that time, months afterwards, through research, not even talking to God about it, trying to figure it out on my own. I had no fellowship, no other Christians around me at that time. So I easily thought that it was the dark night of the soul that I had. And I remember creating a video about that for this YouTube channel. I remember creating that video and posting it on to the platform, which a lot of you have resonated with. But it wasn't fully the case, you guys. It wasn't. It was Jesus calling me home from a path, a very broad path that I was walking at that time, where I was lost, and he was just calling one of his sheep home. And at that time, I just didn't quite get it. So after doing the research on New Age and studying different occult things, because of the interest growing that is easily manipulated dealing with New Age. It's like with New Age is like dangling a carrot in front of you and you're thinking, oh, this knowledge is going to help me grow, and once I have this knowledge from this type of practice or so and so, that's it, I'm going to be fulfilled. But then you want more, and then more knowledge, and it's just going down a rabbit hole that's just endless, and it doesn't leave you satisfied. It just leaves you more hungry and thirsty for knowledge. So as I was going down that New Age path of seeking knowledge and studying and trying to really figure out who I am and who I'm meant to become in this life, I ended up creating a business with the brand Ayam Inspiring. And a lot of you people know this. And for those of you who don't, I'm telling you now. I tried creating my own business of New Age spirituality, where I offered different energy healing sessions, practices, life purpose coaching, oracle card readings, Reiki, all kinds of different things compiled into one hub, one brand of platform on social media, an online business, as well as in-person sessions. And it was thriving for a while. But again, when you're going down that path, it's a very broad path with inverted truths, false light, and self-destruction, though you don't realize it. So then, fast forward a few years later, and I started getting into rock climbing. And I was getting decent, I would think, at rock climbing. But there was this one incident that happened where I had a knee accident, a knee injury, where I needed to do surgery, and I was bedridden for months. And at that time, a lot of things crumbled. Another layer of my business crumbled. The relationship I was in was rocky, and I had to just sit there in bed with all of this stuff crumbling down, as well as trying to work through and heal emotions that would arise and I just had to sit there and be still. And at that time, Jesus came back in my life. And it was very intimate, close time with Jesus at that time, because I was so hurt and broken. It was almost like a crucifixion for God and Jesus to come in, because I had no choice but to let them in. I couldn't fight it anymore. I couldn't hold on to what I was trying to build anymore. So then, when I was able to walk again, I kind of veered back into the New Age movement. But then, ending of 2020 was a pivotal point that changed me for good. See, in 2020, ending of 2020, December, at that time, I was doing a spiritual journey called like the Mary Magdalene Rose journey. It was like hidden occult stuff. And I was in a group with other amazing women who were trying to figure out and experiment with spirituality and stuff too. And at that time too, the Star of Bethlehem appeared, astrology-wise. And it really impacted all of us. Now, I'm not saying to do the hidden occult practices. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we were on this broad path and we strayed so far that God came in and stopped it and just brought us home. So, December 2020, again, my living situation, I was staying with my sister at the time. My relationship was crumbling. My business was taking a hit. Mentally, I was trying to heal from anxiety. The anxiety first erupted in the summer of 2020. And I was trying to heal and cope with that. And, you know, there was so much in my life that was just crumbling again, like how it was in 2013. But this time was different. This time was the pivotal point of finally being a born-again Christian, where the old me, so December 2020 and then the beginning of 2021, it was the crumbling of my old identity. There was this internal death that happened, and the old me had to die and everything with it. So that was dealing with friends, certain loved ones I had to be let go of. My business, I had to completely let go of my business. I had to completely let go of all of my social media platforms. I had to let go of so much sanctification had to happen in order for God and the Holy Spirit to come in. And it's a process, and it can be brutal. It can be brutal in so many ways. And in so many ways, you don't even realize what toxicity, what type of spiritual attack and warfare that you were bringing into your life because of ignorance, because of the illusion, because of deceit, deception, because of following false light, because of so many different things that we're not aware of that occurs. But there's a sanctification process that happened, and even though it was brutal, it's worth it. Because that is, for me anyways, that was my path on coming home to Jesus, to coming home to God, and really coming home on the journey home with Christ. Because with God, because with Jesus, you don't need to search and seek and try to quench yourself with thirst for knowledge. Because with Jesus, once he gives you that wisdom, that living water, you're never going to be thirsty again. You're never going to want to try to seek more and more and more and more and more, and thinking about yourself all the time, this self-image of yourself. No, you're going to be fulfilled through Jesus. And the journey is going to be about you and God, putting God first so that everything else can follow. About obeying God and decreasing so he can increase in your life for his purpose, for your life and his glory. Because this life, this isn't really our life. God created us for a purpose. And being a born again Christian, it's like, when he starts a good work in you, he's going to finish it. He's going to get it done because God is that good. So, through the beginning of 2021, a lot of sanctification had to happen. And at the same time, going into the middle of 2021, there was a lot of trials and tribulations that had to occur in order for me to surrender and really have faith and trust in God like I've never had before. And it dealt with various ways in my life. And at times it was brutal, but again, God was with me throughout all of it. A lot has happened this year, you guys, for me, on this journey of being a born-again Christian. Psychic attack has happened as well. As I was trying to get out of the New Age movement, it's like when you're going into the mafia and you try to escape and leave the mafia. It's dangerous. It's crazy. But God is so good and so powerful that he is able to do the impossible, because with God, nothing is impossible. With God, everything is possible. Like having a sinner be washed clean in the blood of Jesus and come home and be a born-again Christian. And I'm still on the journey, you guys. I'm going to continue being on this journey on coming home to Christ. But it's worth it. And a lot of people right now in this day and age are having similar experiences where they're escaping and letting go of the new age and coming home to Jesus, because Jesus is calling us home. It's a very important time in history. It's a very important time for globally for us. And I continue to pray and give thanks for those who let go of New Age and come home to Christ, because it's worth it. And it's so fulfilling, and the burdens, the expectations, all of it is just lifted. Because with Jesus, with God, the burden is easy and the yoke is light. And it's real, true light. It's not false light. It's not hidden. It's truth, and you'll know what the truth is when you actually get fed the truth. And it's not confusing. If it's confusion, it's not from God. If it's fear, it's not from God. God is peace, love, understanding, mercy, forgiveness, faith, hope. Faith, hope in things that you can't even necessarily see yet. Most importantly, love. And so much more. And I know I've been rambling a little bit. I mean, since this is my first time trying to articulate all of this that has happened throughout the years, throughout the months, into one video. I pray that you took something from it, or that you at least understood my journey thus far of being a born-again Christian. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. In other videos, I'm going to be reading different scriptures in the Bible that I find very necessary for all that's happening right now in the world, and how it's relatable. Even though, you know, this Bible was written thousands of years ago, it rings true, guys. It rings true. Especially in the book of Revelations. But the whole book itself, it rings true. Being careful of which Bible that you do pick up. And that's a topic for a different discussion. But either way, guys, thank you for tuning in for this video. Thank you for being here. Know that I love you. Know that Jesus loves you. And that God sees you. He sees each and every one of us. He created each and every one of us. He knows each hair on our head, to each finger and nails on our toes. He knows us ins and outs. He's watching you, and he's just patiently waiting for you to come home so he can be with you. And it's worth it. With God, God's worth it. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna have this video come to a close. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.